Hello, it's Nikki. Welcome to a brand new episode. So this is going to be a two-parter. So this is the first part and the second part will be with you on Friday. I hope your week's been good. There is a bit of hope, isn't there, with that spring air popping up just when we all needed it. I think there was just a few smiles that I saw out and about yesterday. I wore a coat and a cardigan and a top and I was too hot. Yes, I was. And it's really lovely just to, I don't know, there's just a new sense of optimism. So hopefully that will all work in the direction that we all want it to. I did a talk yesterday, which was really enjoyable, actually. It was a brand new talk I hadn't delivered in this way before. Well, I had, in essence, like parts of it, obviously a part of my toolkit, as it were. But when I put together a talk, it's always bespoke. So I was trying a new way and I was adding a few new pieces into it and it worked really well. So not to sound like I'm bigging myself up, but I think it's important sometimes, you know, we put so much care and consideration into our work, don't we? And when something works out really well, you have to go, oh, that worked well. Okay, cool. But that leads me on to say that I'm going to be launching a few new mini workshops and things like that over the next couple of months. So watch this space. So, also in other news, we had a bunk bed delivery yesterday. Yes, it's that time. So we seem to have ordered, like I made the order. It looks like the white pine version of the barricade from Les Miserables, meaning this thing it looks like a piece of machinery. It's so huge. It's got a double bed on the bottom and a single on the top. And then it's got this kind of stair thing going on with drawers, with shelves. So yeah, I was in charge of recycling and ripping up the boxes and organising that. Matt very much did. He definitely did the heavy lifting stuff. Although when I went out to help the delivery come in, sorry, this is a long-winded story, I confirmed to myself that I'm good in a crisis, because this guy who delivered the bunk beds, he was reversing like there was no tomorrow, and I could see him almost like within maybe 5 centimetres reverse into a brand new Jaguar. Anyway, so I did that kind of wailing my arms up and down, like, no, stop. So part 1 of the bunk beds, they're all up. Let's see if it makes my children want to sleep through the night. That would be lovely. On to today's episode. Right. What do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about online courses. I know loads of you either have them or want to have them because, and it's maybe not so much, I haven't heard it, but there was definitely, maybe about 2 years ago, people did that very aggressive marketing of like, if you don't have an online course, you are a loser, you are this, you are that. And yeah, you know how I feel about that. When people get really shouty and really over enthusiastic about stuff without knowing the context of the person, is what I'm going to say. And sometimes for you to start that online course or to grow that online course, it feels like a lot. So I'm sure some shouty people on the internet might have been like, even though you are homeschooling your kids, you stay up till 2:00 in the morning and you get this done. No, you don't have to. No. Like, let's take our time. Let's not do this sink or swim thing. Let's do this marathon, not a sprint. Because these things, as much as it would be sexy and lovely to follow those formulas where they say build your online course in 6 hours, is that going to be quality? Is that going to be the best version of what you have to offer? Is that going to make you stand out in the market? And we probably know the answers to that, right? And I've always worked on the sense of integrity, and I have been here for the last 25 years and I want to be here for the next 20, 25 years. So I don't want to just chuck something out, because like when people just, I don't know, when people are not ready and they feel pressure to follow somebody else's business model, it can be tricky. Anyway, where do I want to start? So I started creating online offerings, I'm going to call them. So I started with an ebook back in 2014. Yes, like before I had kids, before the world went completely bananas. 2014, I launched my first ebook, and yes, it still sells today. And then I started to slowly introduce shorter courses, and that was such a process for me. And people will just say, like, follow the steps. But I tell you what, when you launch something, when you put something in the world, it may, I'm going to say it will. It may, because I don't know if it will for you, but it did for me. Bring up all your stuff. Is anybody going to buy this? Is this any good? Do I have to over-deliver? What's the price point? Oh my goodness, what if somebody asks for a refund? La 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 la, all the things. And it's been interesting noticing what has happened over the last 5 or 6 years in terms of my own development. So I am at a point where I know that if I put something out online, it sells and it continues to sell. And that has only come to light from doing it. And this is the thing, like getting started, getting some skin in the game, and starting where you're at, even if it's like, I feel like I've got some information to share on this. Maybe I could do a little hour workshop on this and sell it. Start with that. Because you know what? Sometimes going, oh my goodness, I've got to build this year-long program. And is it a Facebook group? And is it an Editions? And do I work with people one-on-one? Like, I would never have had the guts, the courage, the headspace, the vision to do that when I started. But now I am at that point. And I am in the process of relaunching. So I'm going to be relaunching. See, I get nervous again every time. I'm going to be relaunching my Speak Up program next month. And I thought it might be helpful, interesting, all of the above, hopefully, to document the process and why I have made that decision. And because it's a tangible example, hopefully you'll be able to see it as it reveals itself online and be like, oh yeah, she said that in the podcast. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's what that actually looks like practically. So I started this course launched it in October 2019. And I'm not going to pretend I'm some kind of guru, but sometimes I have guru moments. And this came to me in a dream, because it wouldn't make sense on paper, because so how old was Luna? Luna was born August 2019, and I launched this October 2019 at the end of October. So yeah, it was early days. Didn't quite clock how early that was, but this is when you know that you're on to a good one. So this came to me almost like I woke up in the morning and I had to literally run to my desk and write this program down. I was like, oh my goodness, module 1, and it literally fell out of my head. And there is a really important lesson in that of leaning in to what is easy and what feels really good and what you actually know about. And I suddenly had this dawning, especially with the speaking side. I was like, well, I am a paid speaker and I've been speaking for so many years. I've done speaking in all kinds of different ways and shapes and forms, and I can bring all of that. But also I'm a coach, and I have a podcast, and it all came together very, very quickly. But because I needed more information, because I think this is the thing as well, is I'm sorry if I'm hopping around here, but I want to give you everything that I can. And this is only part one, ladies and gents. Let's see how long I've been wanging on for. Okay, nearly 10 minutes. Let's go. So, yeah, I think there's this sense sometimes where people want to, and I talk about this with my clients or in my Jam and Plan, like polish the shelves. So polish the shelves of the shop and never quite open the doors. And by building programs, by doing things behind the scenes, because quite often with an online course, it isn't like a product launch, for example. It isn't something that has to be sent to the factory, or you have to get samples back from the designer, or you have to safety test it, or any of those things. So it doesn't necessarily have that lead time. But I do think of an online course like that in terms of how can I get it in front of people or give people a taste early doors, because that is such valuable information. So I made a decision in October 2019. I was like, right, I'm going to do a beta version, and I'll tell you exactly what the figures are and things like that. So I did a beta version, and I was like, I'm going to do 20 places at £150. And that includes, I mean, it's bonkers now in terms of the value that people get, but this has brought me to this point. And I'm not saying like, I'm really stroppy about that. I'm absolutely not. Like, this was an integral part of me really getting to this point, 18 months later almost. So I did 20 places, 150 quid, and I said you get full access to the course, which at the time was 4 weeks, so 4 different modules. I would also give everybody an hour session with me, and again, bear in mind my hour sessions start much higher than that. And also I would do a live training every Monday night, so 4 Mondays throughout November. So, of course, 150 quid, 20 places, getting access to all that information. And to me, I mean, they went, I think, within the weekend. So that as a starting point was really promising, because not only were these people my ideal client, as in when I was putting this together, I had those people in mind. They also, by having those conversations with me, filled in my gaps. Because even though I'm an expert in bunny ears at doing the service, speaking in my arena, I don't know everything. Of course I don't. And I'm not going to predict that I know everything about every customer, every human experience. So when I got on calls with people, or even I had a few sort of discovery calls where people were like, I'm not really sure, or I had a few voice notes or WhatsApp messages where people were like, I don't know if this is for me. And one person said something so valuable to me where she was like, I hate social media, but I want to speak on big stages. Is this going to be still for me? And it made me justify my decision. It made me look at my program and look really honestly and say, where am I positioning this? Is there going to be enough content for her? Am I going to be able to support her in the way that she wants to be? Have I put too much emphasis on social media? What are my kind of questions? Anyway, in the end, I delivered the information, and I said honestly what it was and how she would benefit, and she signed up. And it was so lovely to be able to see how she could take my material and make it work for herself. So that was that. And since then, that was the end of 2019. And throughout 2020, people have just joined, and they've joined the program. But there is more. There's more. There's more that I can do. And when I was taking this on a walk, because it was my whole, over the last few years, is about more ease and flow and streamlining. And I just thought, I need to add more bits of bobs into this so I give a fuller, rounder experience. So when people come into my world of taking this course, I want it to be that sense, not that they're on holiday, but you know when you're on holiday where you're like, everything's taken care of. I know that my whole and you may not like to holiday like this, but I've been to this place called the Body Holiday in St. Lucia. I've been there twice. It's the most incredible, beautiful place. It means so much to me as well, because the second time I went, that was the first time I felt Oscar kick as I was watching the sea, and yeah, that was such a lovely moment. But it's one of those places where you literally hand over your brain, and everything, they're taking care of every need. And that's what I want my course experience to be like, in terms of the fuller, richer experience. And so I know there is more that I can talk about. I know that I'm keeping some things back. And I know, given the information that I have and the sort of the twist on it, is I need to go into more depth. For example, I'm telling people how to deliver a talk, as in like, this is how you get your talk. But what about sharing all those things of how to put a talk together? What about sharing how you can get in the zone? What about sharing afterwards when people come up to you? And there's been so many contractual things as well that I've noticed in the last 18 months of speaking, especially during this time. Like, how do you negotiate all those terms? And I was an agent for years as well. So there's so much more to be said. So with that being said, I'm relaunching it, and I'm really excited to do it, and I have the capacity to do it, and the fact that my son's going back to school, I'm just really excited. But I wanted to give you a few pointers about you and where you go, and if some kind of offering, whether it's a course, a masterclass, a workshop, that doesn't involve you one-to-one necessarily, unless people pay for that option, is for you. And I wanted to give a few questions for you to ponder. And whenever I'm thinking about creating something, the first thing I always ask myself is, why? Why am I doing it? Because there has been a case sometimes where people have said to me, oh, it'd be really useful if you did an online course on this, this, and this. And for them, they might look at me and go, that makes so much sense in terms of the way that I view Nikki. But for me, there isn't necessarily that pull. There's not that, oh my goodness, this is exactly why I should do that. So I think your why has to be very clear. So in terms of Speak Up, I really want everybody who wants to be able to earn money from speaking, because I'm hearing it all the time. Yeah, I was asked to contribute to this, or they said that they would share my social media handle, or they said there would be exposure, or they said I would open myself up to ideal clients. No, there is money in pots. And people are putting on events, and there is money available for you to add speaking as an additional revenue stream. And certainly when I did one of my talks with stylists, that was that same month, so October 2019. And to be able to earn in essentially, I mean, we were there probably 2 or 3 hours, and I was there with my mum. My mum was like, where are the gift bags? And I don't think she got one in the end, but she was like, the catering looks really good. But the money that I was able to earn from that, like, it's a crazy amount of money for essentially having a chat for 35 minutes. Now, it's never just having a chat, is it? It's like bringing all your experience and your knowledge and providing a service. And I'm never one of those, even though I was on a panel then, I'm never one of those lazy, like, I don't know, guys, just think positive. Just go for it. Just go for it. What? I've gone to so many panels where people just tell me to go for it. I don't know what you mean. I need you to break it down and give me a guidebook, a handbook. I need you to support me here. So first and foremost, if you're thinking about the why, really go into it. Why are you doing this? Why does it feel passionate? And when you're thinking, again, moving on to the second one from Oprah herself, thinking about your intention, yes, of course, you can say, because I want to earn extra income, because I don't want to work as hard, because I want to have something that people can access anywhere that I can scale. Absolutely. All of those things make business sense. But you have to stand in a way that you know in the middle of the night that you've put something on the internet that is not, and I'm going to swear, so I'm just giving you that warning if you need to press pause or put little ears away. You want to have the intention that this thing online that you put together is not shit. And sometimes that is the first starting point. You don't want to put shit content out there because, oh my goodness, I have bought so many terrible courses with the most jazzy sales page. And one of the modules that I once bought from this course, and on the sales page, it was like, you're going to learn this. I'm going to break down my exact process. I'm going to do da, 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 da. And when I logged in, it was an audio, which is fine. It was 3 minutes 19. 3 minutes 19. I was like, what? And it wasn't broken down. It was very vague. It was very rough. And yeah, maybe that person just thought it was good, but I didn't necessarily connect with it in that way. So when I'm thinking about my intention, and when you're thinking about your intention, what are you here to do? Think about that person that you're really supporting. Think about how you're helping. And I love it, especially the people who have done Speak Up. They go, I got paid for my first speaking gig today. Oh my goodness, it was so exciting. Or I had a client the other day who was like, I got this inquiry and I didn't really know them and I wasn't expecting them to have a budget, but they offered a 4-figure sum immediately. And that's when that's really exciting, because in this time, if we can work at our best and earn beautifully in the process, that's going to be great. Okay, I've got 2 more things and then I'm going to, because I'm conscious of your time, I'm going to flip over into Friday as well. Number 3, why are you the person to do it? So there are lots of things that I know a little bit about. A little bit. Like I can cook a nice risotto. I can, what can I do? I can run a bit. I know a bit about running. I can talk about feelings. I've done a bit of yoga. I could do a dance class. But there are lots of gaps in my knowledge. So leaning into the stuff in terms of business and your brand that you actually really know about. So I've dabbled a bit with sales funnels, but it's not in my content because I don't know enough about it, because I am not the person that people need to learn from. However, speaking, I can talk about it all day. I can talk about it all day because it's something that I'm living and breathing and doing every single day. So really think about why you are that person to do it, because your experience, your knowledge on a sales page, you want to get to the point where it just speaks for itself, where somebody sees you launching something and they're like, of course she's going to do something around that. Of course. Oh, that makes total sense. Yep, let me sign up. What am I doing? Payment plan or pay in full? What's the situation here? The final thing I'm going to share here is, what are you going to bring to the table? Imagine if this is a business pitch. So when I've been creating courses in the past, they often start on plain white A4 pieces of paper and loads of Sharpies. Sometimes they start on Post-it notes. And I always go, what am I here to say? What could I say? What can I bring to the table? And I start to scribble. So I never assume that I could put out any old rubbish and people pay for it. I am very intentional about the way that I create things, and I make sure that I can justify it to myself first, because that feeling of being connected and feeling like it's a good decision is very important to me. So I want you to think, when you're considering your moves in terms of this, what would you say in a business pitch? How would you justify that there's a gap in the market, for example, that you're the person to do it, how many people you could welcome in, and really get clear on what the end result is. Because if you go, I want to create this framework or this platform and be able to deliver in this way, and I want to help these people, the content itself, it starts to become very clear, because simply it has that decision to make of, is this in line with what I want to deliver? So I hope that has been useful. I would love to know if you're planning on creating a course this year or what you're doing. If I can help in any way, please let me know and I will point you in the right direction. Because these things are overwhelming. You know, I had Encarta 96. I also played a lot of, what was it called? Minecraft? Minesweeper. That's what it was. We didn't have the internet. I wrote out all my essays and all sorts of things like that. I think I might have printed them in the end. But you know when you used to just take information from Encarta and then just slyly insert it into your essay, and then they'd be like, you can't just copy and paste, you know. I'm like, why not? The information's right there. I know why not, but you know what I'm saying. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I've got a busy day of clients, and if you're a client and you're listening to this, I'll see you in a bit. But yeah, if I can help with your online course, or indeed if you want to hear about Speak Up when it goes live, just drop me a message, hello@NikkiRaby, or DM me, and I'm going to suss out what is happening with the bunk beds. I'm sending you lots of love wherever you are in the world, and please like and subscribe and share. And also thank you so much for all your love on the manifesting chat. I'm so glad that it resonated, and yeah, I love you. All right, see you later. Bye.